Hey, Joe. So we have a question from Carlos. And Carlos asks, how does someone in engineering build influence in an organization where decisions seem driven more by politics and narratives than by actual technical reality? How do you stay credible and protect yourself without getting pulled into constant battles? That one I think you can answer.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are calling in from. Welcome to Runtime Regret. We have today a question from Carlos. Christine, thanks so much for teeing that up for me. Uh, the corporate politics questions from an engineer. So the question being, how do you not get dragged into things? How do you remain credible? Um, there's a lot. I could probably talk for a decade on all of the nonsense politics, tricks, games, nuances that individuals do. Yep. So first of all, let's just talk about it. Um, there are two types of people at work. Actually, there's many types of people at work, but let's talk about two. There are individuals that are really driven because they want to create, build, do something that is in alignment with their knowledge and what they got their degree in. And then there's individuals that are there because they want position, they want wealth, and they want power. Um, I've had this. I've seen this trend through my entire life. I actually did another show completely on this, but at the end of the day, the individuals, regardless of how smart they are, regardless of who they know, individuals who spend their entire day struggling for power and trying to climb the ladder in that way, they do it better than you. They do it better than you. You spend your time trying to become a technology practitioner, learning how to code, making sure that your teams are working correctly, bugs and defects. Because you are spending all of your time trying to make sure that systems work, and they're not doing that. So you are not going to perform in the political environment nearly as good as they are. So do not try. Do not play this game. Don't go down the path and say, I'm going to get, oh, how do I not get dragged into it? You determine what you're dragged into. So let's talk about credibility and accountability. So you want to be credible within the IT space. First of all, who are you selling to? This goes right back to mentorship 101. Nobody really wants to talk to, nobody really wants to engage in individuals for more time than they're going to supply them for. So, for example, when you're talking to your staff, you can talk to them for a very long period of time, and they are going to listen intently because they need something from you in the form of promotions, raises, attention, visibility, etc., and you have control over that. Your peers, they also need something from you, but you get a lot less time with them. So, where you might have been able to tell a story that took 3 minutes with your staff, your peers aren't going to listen that long. They're not going to have that tolerance. What they need from you is, you might have a symbiotic relationship with them. You might be infrastructure, they might be development. You might have to change code. You might have to work together, but they don't have time, and they're not going to give you the time. And if you go up to management, they're going to have even less time, and they're really going to focus on what they need to be successful and a lot less on what you believe needs to happen. So first of all, understand the individuals that you're talking to and individuals that have influence and the people that you're trying to, for example, sell to or peddle influence to so that you can get the things done at work that you need to get done to propel the company forward. Full stop. Understand them. Number two, don't get into battles with folks. What you need to do is you need to say, this is what that individual cares about, number one. Not what you care about, but what that individual is going to care about. So if they care about uptime, they care about stability, they care about a new product going to market, talk always in terms of things that apply to them. The second thing is talk to them in a very simple way about what you're doing to affect that. The most valuable tool for an engineer is a picture. Not enough engineers draw pictures of what they're doing. They don't explain the concepts. What you need to do is you need to sit down and whatever you're trying to peddle and whatever we're trying to influence, you need to spend a little bit of time, and it can't be a lot of time because they're not going to give it to you. Explain what the point that you're trying to get across in terms that they care about based upon their objectives. Put it in that context and like a professor would, explain to them why you're making the selections that you do and how it impacts what they're trying to get to. So, for example, if you're saying, I understand that you want an environment that is up all the time, and I'm only talking about uptime because I just did a show on uptime. But you want something that's up all the time. You just simply put a picture in front of them that just says, "You've got a client interface. You know, we need to make sure that it's redundant. This shows redundancy. We've got these little, doodads that make sure that things from one data center are always getting to another data center in as near real time as possible. And we've ensured that redundancy in every single level of the stack. They don't even have to read it. If you show the picture and say, we've taken the time to make sure that everything is in two places, so if one goes down, the other goes down, the picture explains itself. And when somebody learns something from you, and it's done in a very simple way where it's done in a way that it can't not be understood. Like, oh, I understand redundancy. You've put a picture in front of me. I can actually see it. It all makes sense. You've gained credibility because you've taught them something. You've done it in a very simple way. It all makes sense and it's legible. And it's done in the context of a way that they want to listen to it, i.e., what their goals are, you're really explaining how what you're doing impacts their goals. So stop fighting with individuals. Stop trying to play the games. If somebody's dragging you under the bus, let them drag you under the bus. Your job is to tell stories in alignment with the individuals that you want to target, address, and have influence toward, and do it in a way that is simple and do it in a way that is transparent so that they're learning something along the way that makes you credible. I hope that was helpful to you. If you want to write me directly, please feel free. I can give you some very specific examples and things that I've done in the past. But thanks so much for the question, Carlos and Christine. As always, thank you for all you do, because all I really do is talk. Take care. Bye.